talk about 2023. Why not? We got Todd's way too early 2023 mock draft. And Todd, the headline here, as you see them highlighted, 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. Take us through these names.
Yeah, we're throwing it back to 2021 when we had an embarrassment of riches at quarterback. I started at number 9. Let's take a look at the quarterback there. Tyler Van Dyke, I had going to the Seahawks. Listen, he's coming out of Miami. Last year, De'Aaron King got injured early in the season. Van Dyke came on, and he really sparked this Canes offense. He's tall at 6'4", 225 pounds. He's mobile. His flashes are brilliant, but he's got to be a lot more consistent in his second year as a starter in order to be a first-round pick. Then at number 8, I had the New York Giants taking Will Levis from Kentucky. It's hard to watch him on tape at times because you know the talent's there. He's 6'3", 232 pounds. He's mobile as well. He has a strong arm. They just don't utilize it a whole lot. They didn't, at least this past year. A lot of throws within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. With Wan'Dale Robinson gone, I anticipate they're going to open things up a little bit more, the Wildcats, next season. Then at number 6, I had the Carolina Panthers taking a quarterback after taking one in the 3rd round this year, and that was Anthony Richardson from Florida. Listen, these are all projections, but this is a real big projection. You talk about skill set, 6'4", 236, the ability to run. He's got a howitzer for an arm, but he threw 5 interceptions, almost as many as touchdown passes a year ago. He's got a big jump that he has to make after starting just 2 games last season. Now on to the top 2 guys. Bryce Young I had going number 2 overall, the Detroit Lions. Young was fantastic last season. You talk about beginning of the season to the end, his ability to manipulate a defense is outstanding inside the pocket. Yes, he has some mobility, but this guy will kill you with his mind inside the pocket throwing the football. And then the number 1 quarterback I had, and I debated between Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. I went with Stroud at number 1 to the Houston Texans. He's a little bit bigger at 6'3", 218. He's just pinpoint accuracy as a passer. I love the way he throws the football. And you look at the Utah game in the Rose Bowl when he was missing the top 2 receivers, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, who were both picked in the top 11 of the draft. He still was throwing dime after dime after dime in that game. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be Stroud versus Young. Which one will be the first quarterback off the board when it comes to next April's draft?
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear these names and think about how exciting it's going to be to watch these guys in college football. And Todd, you mentioned the size difference in Stroud and Young, that being a differentiator when you think about those two. But you got Stroud 1, you got Young 2, the top 2 quarterbacks. Is there anything else that makes them a little bit different for you in your mind when you try to evaluate them?
There's not a whole lot. They both like to beat you from inside the pocket. I do think Young is more developed in terms of understanding what defenses are doing and how he progresses from read 1 to 2 to 3 so quickly. I had to remind myself, Laura, several times watching his tape this past season, he's just a 1-year starter. Same thing for Stroud. But Bryce, it really is about the mind and the timing. Versus I think Stroud just has a natural God-given talent to put the ball on the target. Now, granted, he has 3 first-round receivers that he was throwing to this past season with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was the most productive of all 3 of them, and is going to be a top 10 pick next year. So he has a lot of weapons to throw to, and he will again this season. But I love the way that Stroud spins the ball.
Yeah, you know, Bryce Young had to deal with his weapons going down in big moments, too, and still trying to create something out of nothing. You mentioned, you know, AR-15, Anthony Richardson is your 3rd quarterback. Is there a huge separation between Stroud and Young at the top and then everybody else?
I think there is, because we kind of know, even though it was just 1 season, we know what Stroud can do. We know what Bryce Young can do. Big stages, big moments, big games. They always seem to deliver. With the other guys, again, I mentioned Richardson. I love his tools, but he started 2 games, Laura. And there's talks that he's still fighting to win the job next year. So, I mean, this could be a guy that doesn't even come into the draft and maybe only half the season as a starter. But when he gets it going, if he gets it going to the level that I know he can, we're talking about a talent that is unbelievable. And it's just fun to watch what he's just scratching the surface right now, and it's fun to watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Florida fans are going to be upset if you don't see Richardson start. But you're right, he is in a little bit of a quarterback battle with Napier taking over there. All right, with us already looking ahead to the